Today I'm going to cover with you the step-by-step process I used to show a $500 million revenue company that 30% of their revenue was actually coming from referral. Referral being friends, family, and colleagues. So why referral is so important? For two reasons. The first reason is because this traffic shouldn't be allocated to your marketing initiative. And we'll talk about the measurement part in a minute. And second of all, because it's a great indicator to understand how well your product works. If people are recommending your product to their network, it means that they're really convinced that this is going to be the solution for them. And so it shows like how great your product is. So in terms of measurement, what do we have available? We have the last touch attribution, which is somebody recommend your product and that somebody is going to go on Google and then it's going to come through a branded SEO keyword or through a branded paid search keyword. In one case, it's going to be assigned to SEO, and then in the other case, it's going to be assigned to paid broad search. Obviously, none of these are true and it happens all the time. And so last click attribution is definitely not something to use. Multi-touch attribution will do the exact same thing. Those models are not able to track the entire journey. And so they're going to be completely blind to understand what's coming from referral and what's not. And they're going to do the exact same thing than last touch attribution. This is also not a tool that we want to use. The last one that we have is mixed media model. So this one is the less worst of the three because it does try to model the baseline. The baseline being any revenue that is not contributed to paid initiative. And so in there, you're going to have organic traffic and then you're going to have referral. The problem is you don't understand strictly what comes from referral. And so it's not a perfect tool neither. By the way, these problems will happen to you also if you do events, if you have online stores, if you do a lot of organic content. Multi-touch attribution and last touch attribution is going to be very misleading. And so what do we have left for referral? We have self-attribution. So self-attribution is simply asking the person where and how they heard about us. And this is the only way to track referral in the end. And so the way we did it for my client is that we set it up at two levels. We set it up on the post-purchase and also on the appointment form. And the client didn't want to use an entire free text form. I disagree with that. The reason is because drop-down lists have bias and also shallow information problem. So bias is because, for example, if your drop-down is listed alphabetically, well, you're going to have many people clicking on affiliate because it's the first answer and they don't want to really answer to the question. While if you have a free text box, people who do not want to answer will just put a dot or a space and then at least you know which answer is not serious. The one solution that you have to the drop-down is that you can have a shuffling method. So the options are shuffled every time there's a form pops out. And so that kind of tackle the bias problem, but it doesn't tackle the shallow information problem. So when you let a user having complete free text, sometimes they're going to be multiple channel. You're going to have specific information. For example, for another client, we saw that one person recommended their product multiple times. We saw multiple clients and CEOs recommending that product, and that strengthened the relationship between the business and their clients. And so for that case, we still had one free text, which was the other option, and the other option allowed the user to write down anything they wanted. And so a lot of people are against the concept of free text because they say that it's difficult to categorize later on, which is very far from the truth today. So I just connected to the OpenAI API and I asked ChatGPT to categorize this within some constraint. The response were perfect and it's very easy to implement and it's very cheap. We're talking about $1 cent per 100 response. So even if you're a multinational, like you're not going to break the bank with that kind of solution. So there are solutions for free text and it's way better. Once you have your response categorized, what you're going to see also that is very interesting is that you're going to see that anything like AOV, LTV, CAC payback is really different by sources. And there's a lot of things you can do about it. I'm not going to share which sources for my client exactly because I don't want to bias you. That really depends on the business, but implement the self-attribution and you're going to see the same results. Now, the last thing I want to say is that I don't use it alone. I use it as a tool within a tool set. And there are two other tools that I'm using for measurement. We have the mixed media model and we have my mid-funnel model, which tracks the contribution of all the marketing initiative of different level of the funnel. Obviously, I don't use last touch and multi-touch for the reason I explained earlier. Those tools are very misleading. In the case of the multi-touch tool, again, you can't track the entire user journey, specifically with long consideration funnel like you have all the time in B2B. So yes, please implement your self-attribution. There's only value to it, and I hope this helped. Have a good day. Bye.